And please welcome your hosts, Sean Pruden and John Galinzi.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for coming to spend time with us at the end of this long day. It's, for many of you who were out there last night when I was leaving the student event and putting out your chairs, it got real cool on the sidewalk, I'm sure, and you spent a whole long night waiting for this day, and you've been here, and now you've joined us to celebrate some excellent apps.
And we are here to award excellence and innovation on both iOS and OS X. And every year it gets more and more difficult to pick our design winners because there are so many great apps.
Yeah, so many of you, we shared a statistic this morning that 70% of the audience here at WWDC are new to the show. And so many of you have never been to this show, the Design Awards. And so we thought we'd take a moment to explain how we pick the winners. We judged the winning apps using sort of we judged the winning apps in three major areas. The first is around design. So for design, we look at apps we're looking for apps that are easy to use, apps that are familiar, that are consistent within themselves, but consistent with the operating system as well. They have a great game loop, so really excellent gameplay. They're intuitive and understandable and immediately usable by the people who they were built for. And then we look at apps in the technology. We judge apps around technology. So we're evaluating the apps on their use of iOS or OS X frameworks to do really cool stuff or to add really valuable functionality. Or we're also looking at whether the app launches quickly. Is it responsive? Does it take, does it work the way you would expect it to work? And is there smooth scrolling? We look at whether or not the app runs on the latest OSs, whether it takes advantage of the newest hardware and takes advantage of things like M7 or A7 on iOS or multi-core or other technologies and hardware technologies on OS X. And then thirdly, we're looking at apps from the point of view of innovation. And innovation really is that spark of brilliance, right? That uniqueness, the clever implementation of something that you wouldn't have expected in the first place, but then when you see it, you're blown away by it. And there's just so many ways to talk about innovation, but really it comes down to the implementation of something that is just so fresh and so compelling and done in a unique way. So those three areas are how we judge the apps. There's so many more things we look at, but in a nutshell, they're grouped in those three areas.
So let's talk about the prizes that our award winners will be given to take home. It's pretty much one of every piece of hardware that we make. A Mac Pro with a cinema display, a 27-inch iMac, an Apple TV, a MacBook Air, a MacBook Pro, an iPad, and an iPod Touch.
Not a bad haul.
And last but not least, probably the most coveted part of the award is...
Yeah, you get to take home one of these 88 trophy cubes. And these are, statically, or they detect touch. They're touch sensitive. So you touch them, they light up on the top, just like the back of your MacBook Pro. The Apple logo lights up. And these are to die for, must-have Apple products. And a few of you are going to get one tonight.
So without any further ado, let us get to the winners. We're going to start with a few student winners. Students have been part of WWDC for many, many years. In fact, we have got a student scholarship program where we awarded 200 students this year.
Yeah, 200 students. If you're in the house and you're a student scholarship winner this week, could you stand up for a moment? We just want to award you with some recognition.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can be seated.
We're delighted.
You guys have done some great work to get here, and the apps that we looked at were really impressive. And so you deserve to be here this week, and we hope that you're going to continue to produce some incredible apps that put the more veteran developers who are in the audience, give them a run for the money, right?
Like these apps who have been...
Like some of these apps. These were student winners that we highlighted in previous years that we demoed here on stage. Some of them maybe have changed names or what have you, but they were great apps written by students over the past 3 years.
So let's move on to our first winner. Our first winner is Pano Perfect by Half Peeled and Two Bros. Winners, please come up the stairs on the front of the stage here. Thank you, sir. Come up over here. Nice to see you again. There you go. Congratulations. Pano Perfect is a fun and simple way to share beautiful panoramic photos. These are two former high school students that attended WWDC in 2012 on student scholarships and built this app when they were inspired by our ROS6 announcement of panoramics. And John's going to show us now.
Yeah, it's a great story, sitting in the keynote, watching something, and then deciding to write an app. I think that's a great story. So Pano Perfect is this app that allows you to view panoramic photos, and there's just a community of people who love panoramas that are submitting photos into the app. So it's a very familiar user interface. You're just scrolling through this. These guys are using UIKit dynamics and image effects for blurs on some of the UI, which we'll get to in a moment. So this is the Explorer. This is kind of a curated set of panoramas. If we go to nearby, they're using core location to determine where you are. And we're going to go in here, hopefully, and load some panos. Yeah, here's some panos that are nearby. A couple of them posted by the creators of the app. But let's just go into this one. We double tap. You can favorite it. You can like it. You can comment on it. And then you can double tap and just go in and gesture through the UI to go and look at the entire panorama. And they're doing low-res thumbnails in the feed that you see here, and then they're going to the high-res full panoramas when you go and look in to the individual image. So super cool app that really was created to address the experience that at the time there was no support for panoramic images in a lot of social networking apps. And so these guys stepped up and made something really cool. Congratulations.
Congratulations. We're going to have you go off this thing. Perfect.
All right, the next app was created because of the incredible movement and growth of iPad in education. And people are changing. iPad has changed the way that we're learning in the classroom. It's changing the way that adults are learning and kids are learning. And the mix of iPad in education is really taking off because of the incredible new apps that are available, interactive textbooks, really tremendous content. And the creators of this next app saw all of that, saw the growth that was going on, and also saw a specific need that they wanted to step up to and solve. So our winner does that.
And they are Animal Adventure by Teachly. Congratulations. You're welcome. Animal Adventure is a fun and engaging app that teaches you single-digit addition. Why don't you come over here? There we go. It was created by grad students from Columbia University who are involved in research in cognition, learning, the way kids learn, and technology. Sinister Professor Possum has destroyed El Samado and is building a robot that could ruin the world. Join the animals to win back blocks and rebuild the Golden City to its former glory. John?
Right. Let's take a look at this app. So I'm not going to get into Sinister situation, get into that whole gameplay. But these folks worked with folks from Sesame Workshop and created some really great artwork in the app. The app is focused on teaching children basic addition, and for a lot of kids, this is a real struggle. And so this developer set out to solve this problem. So we're going to get into the app. We'll skip over the narrative at the beginning here. This is pretty straightforward stuff. So most of you are going to get the answers right without even using the app. But the key here is that the app is teaching children addition. And when you're first learning addition, you just, the first thing you do is you count on fingers. You just kind of like 1, 2, 3, you count them off individually. And so the app lets you do that. And so I can just tap, I get 5, I get some feedback in the UI, I move the slider bar with this tactile feel to 5, and I get confirmation that it's the right answer, or I don't, it was the wrong answer. I can also do count on, which is a second kind of addition tool. So once the child has learned to basically count through the numbers, then they can start moving on to different kinds of addition where they're going to take a big number and add some smaller numbers to it. So in this case, the child's going to start to learn that you can start with 3 and then do 1 more and get 4, right? There we go. And the app continues to go on and teach all kinds of other tools and techniques for learning addition. Another one is doubles, where you basically start off with, say, 3 and 4 is 7, and so first it shows you that you can cut the 4 into a 3, and so you get 3, 3, and 1 is 7. The app is full of these kinds of techniques. They can take advantage of iOS technologies to do a really great experience with large text, great colors, and an experience I think that is really going to resonate with little kids. So congratulations, extremely well done.
Thank you very much. Can we get the slides back, Chuck? There we are. All
right. Everybody loves a great game, and there are so many games on the App Store. And we had a lot of fun looking through the best games and trying to figure out which one was the one that needed to be a winner, and there are many that needed to be a winner. Unfortunately, we can only award so many tonight. But one of the types of games on the App Store that is super popular, that everybody loves, that originated in the 80s, is the platformer. And in the platformer game genre, what you're doing is you're basically running and jumping, moving and jumping to avoid obstacles and get coins and save people and get money and whatever you're getting. And the whole point is to not fall off the platform, right? And the way you fall off the platform is you get, speared, or some obstacle hits you, or something falls on you, or whatever. But the point is that the platform is a pretty loose term, but you're moving across this thing, and it just goes on and on and on. And our next winner has created, I think, one of the most incredible platformer games today on the App Store. They're a recent arrival, and we're thrilled to award them with something today.
To Leo's Fortune from 1337 in Senri.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
You're welcome. Congratulations. Congratulations. In Leo's Fortune, you hunt down a cunning and mysterious gold thief. Why don't you stand over here, folks? You hunt down a cunning and mysterious gold thief traveling through lush environments such as mossy forests, arid deserts, snow-capped mountains, and pirate cities to uncover the truth behind Leo's stolen fortune.
Great. Well, I'm not going to go to the snow-capped peaks or underwater or anything like that. I'm going to show you the basic gameplay so that you get a sense for what's going on. If I can get the volume brought down a little bit, that'd be great. All right, so Leo's Fortune. You've got about 25 levels or more that you can just swipe through in a very familiar user interface. I'm going to start on level 1 because I want to point out something that is such a great example of their attention to detail and the way that they've done things in this game. So I'm going to start the tutorial. And this is really sort of the onboarding experience for the app. And there are so many apps nowadays that are needing to do this. They want to get you up onto, into the app and help you understand how to use the app. And you don't need something that's very, that's super intense. But to do this well takes a lot of design and I think a lot of thinking. And so I want to show you. So the game starts off like this. And the first thing you're told is where to place your thumbs. And in order to do that, you're immediately learning how to hold the iPad to play the game. So I'm going to put my left thumb here, my right thumb here. And now the game starts to work. And it's got these coach marks. So I'm going to move the left thumb. And we're going to start to collect coins with Leo here. OK, so here's the platformer experience, right? You're driving along on this so-called platform. And boom, I'm stuck. I can't get over this thing. But this onboarding experience has these ghosting images. And they tell me that if I move my right thumb up, I can inflate Leo and move him up and down. And now I'm dealing with an obstacle in this case. Let's keep going. Thanks. Oops, I'm down there. No problem. I can go back up. I can inflate. Nope, sorry. Oh, come on. This is the problem with these demos, right? Okay, here we go. We land on there. Boom. Ta-da. Here we are. We're driving around. And notice just the effects in the background. There's this perspective going on. You've got petals flying through the air. On other levels, there's rain falling. There's all kinds of stuff happening in in the distance. And here, you're dealing with this obstacle, and the game is full of these kinds of obstacles where Leo has to do something in one spot to open a door or some kind of a bridge. In this case, if I landed on top, I would die. And so I'm just going to inflate him, flip this around, and then move along and keep jumping. And this is just a real quick view of what's going on in this game. But we just thought they did such a good job, for example, with this kind of an S-curve, which is really hard to get, to do well. You're going down through mines, you're in rainstorms, all kinds of stuff. And then here, again, this onboarding experience, but I'm actually playing it. And you see that I'm supposed to jump this guy, right? Boom. And then now I'm moving along. And this is just the first level. But the game goes on, and we love this game for that attention to detail across all their levels, for the great integration with touch, for the leveraging of iOS technologies and graphics, for the sound system. There's so much that these guys did right, and we just want to say congratulations. This is an awesome app.
Thank you so much.
All right, we all live busy lives, and one of the things that I've learned over time and other people have learned is that if you can capture some of the things that are going on and take a moment to record an idea, a thought, a memory, or something happens and it triggers a thought and you want to capture it, that exercise of writing things down for a moment, to just capturing these little bits of information throughout the day, is actually a great way to relieve stress. It's actually a great way to build memories and kind of catalog your day. It can also be an idea incubator. And so this is something, it's a good discipline for us all to get into. And this developer, the developer of the next app, of the next winner, totally understands this idea.
And they are Bloom Built, who's made Day One. Come this way. Come this way. Congratulations. There you go. Congratulations. Day One lets you record your life as you live it. From everyday moments to once-in-a-lifetime events, the elegant interface of Day One makes journaling your life a simple pleasure.
Right, so this is a Mac app. It's also available on iOS as well, but we thought we would award it for the Mac and show it off on the Mac because so many of us are so busy as developers on our Macs every day. We're writing code, we're spending time in Xcode, or we're doing, using various tools. You could be in a spreadsheet, you could be writing some sort of a document. But along the way, something might happen. You might get a phone call, a thought pops into mind, an email arrives, and you might want to record an idea or put something quickly down, which is a big part of journaling. It's not sitting down to write something huge. It's just capturing these little nuggets. And so Day One just builds a little menu extra that you can type in and put some sort of an entry in, and that'll go straight into the blog and then into the journal, and then you're back to your work. Or we could just go up here and we'll just launch the app. And we can, inside of the app, immediately create a journal entry. So I can say, here I am at the Apple Design Awards. Sorry. The trophies are great. Want one of these soon. Right? There's my entry. I can take, turns out I've actually took a trophy picture earlier. So I can take this picture, drop it into here, and Day One's going to either take the date from the picture or just say leave it unchanged based on the date I'm entering this journal entry. And then I say I'm done. I can tag it with various tags that are in the system. I can add a location. They've got Maps integration, so I can say use current location if I'd like. And I'm done. And there's the entry in there. And I can look at my journal over time using the overall view of all my journal entries. And so here's just a sample journal that's we've got in the app here, where you can take a look at all these entries and go back in time and see what's going on. And really, that is the whole point of journaling, is capturing these moments in time as they occur, as they pop into your mind. And we felt that Day One did such a great job at this. As well, they've got built-in notifications, so you can set up reminders to put things into your journal. They've got inspirational quotes that will pop up when you're going to create a journal entry that can be inspiring and get you writing. And really, that's the essence of a great tool, right? Is that it gets the job done, it doesn't get in the way, and it's perfectly balanced. And we selected this tool for being super well designed on OS X and being exactly what it needs to be and nothing more. So congratulations on a job well done.
Well done. Thank you. Take you off that one.
All right, our next winner is just such a great example of the principle of minimalist design. Design is all about fit and finish. It's all about the marriage between form and function. It's about communicating clearly, and iOS really helps you to do this, right? By helping you focus on content, getting out of the way, giving you a system that allows you to draw, the UI from iOS 7 that is minimalist in nature, and it takes a lot of attention and a lot of focus and refinement to actually end up with something that is in its purest form, that is something that is exactly what you wanted it to be and nothing more. There's no extra adornments. And our next winner did that with their game.
And they are Black by Kunabi Brother. Watch him trying to get it. Hello. Congratulations. The goal of this game is to shape a line through all of the colored circles while avoiding black holes along its route. From delightfully simple to exceptionally deep and complex, it's a stroke of genius. John?
Yeah, this app is awesome, and I want to if you've not played this game, you need to see it from the start. So the basic point of the game is, as Sean said, you gesture and you draw this little line to knock out the colored dots. And when you get to a level where there are black dots, you want to avoid those. But at the first level, you're just starting off here with this gesture, and notice as I'm playing here that there's nothing extra on screen. It's just the dots, it's just my gesture. And the rendering of that gesture is almost like calligraphy. I mean, it has a flair to it. It's representative of the speed of my stroke, the exact timing, the length and everything. So let me get rid of these 3. So those are easy levels. Let me jump up to level 8 here for a moment, which is kind of fun. So here I've got an instance where I've got to avoid the black dots but get the white ones, or get the colored ones. And to do that, I've got to figure out what gesture to do that will repeat across the screen to remove these colored dots. Now, the other thing that's super cool about this app is that it leverages audio for great feedback. And so there's some very fun, lightweight sounds that come through as you screw up, basically. So so here I'm messing up. Let me try to do it right. No, not quite. Not quite. Not quite. See? And the thing about this game is it's like that. You're like, oh, blast, and the sound just gives you this great feedback. One last try. No, come on, John. Oh. Okay, we'll give up. But we just, what's the problem with these demos? We love this game for the minimalist design, the great integration with the touch, system of iOS, just that expression of just a great engagement, this great expression of the game in a very simplistic way with no extra adornment. And so congratulations on an excellent job.
Thank you very much. Go up this way. Nice play there.
Right. So, we're all, at the conference this week, and we're crazy busy. You've got 10 sessions to attend, and so this is just a great example of how busy we are. If we're not at a conference, you guys are writing code, you're going to school, you're doing life, and if you're anything like me, you know that it's hard to keep on top of all of the things that are going on in the world around us, whether it's in our industry, whether it's not in our industry, but something that interests us, whether it's sports or world news or what have you. And so we've got news, it's not for lack of news sources, it's just that there's so much news coming at us. And it's often hard to pick a quality source of news. It's hard to find one that is, curated and that's going to give you what you are really interested in the length that you want it to be in. And more importantly, it's even hard to find time to read it all. And the developer of our next app, the winner, is set out to solve this dilemma of getting information to people in a timely manner in a way that they can consume it easily.
And our winner is Yahoo News Digest by Yahoo. Congratulations, sir. There you go. Adam.
Congratulations. Good job.
Congratulations.
Good job.
This app gets you in the know in no time. It delivers definitive summaries of all the important and need-to-know news of the day in 2 beautiful digests. Stories are both hand-curated as well as algorithmically generated to ensure high quality and keep you informed of all the key headlines of the day.
All right, let's take a quick look at Yahoo News Digest. So what you get is these 2 digests of news with about 8 stories in them in the morning at 8 a.m. and at 6 p.m. in the evening. And that's it. And so this is one of my go-to news apps all the time. I wait for these digests to arrive, and once they arrive, you can just scroll through this really simple UI that lists the stories, the top stories of the day. And what they've done really well is they've done this automatic collection of information and aggregation and all the work that they do behind the scenes with Semly, but then they're doing human curation of the content in addition with their editors. And so the content that you get, the news stories are extremely high quality. So here we are, we're moving through this list, and so you see political story, there's a US news story, technology, world. Below each of these story headlines, you've got these little atoms, these little circles, and you can tap them to get the legend of what each of these mean. But basically, they're telling you how much information there is available for one of the stories. So let's go into the story about Apple. Hey, why not? And the first time you use it, it says how to use the app, and so you can swipe just right to left around the stories, or go back into a story and read it in more detail. And I find that these are, if I just take about 10 minutes to plow through this digest, I've got some great information about the latest headlines. And so you get these great call-outs. You're moving through the story. That's pretty much it. It's well laid out. At the bottom, you're getting extra information like photos that might be associated with the story that are coming from really good sources. There might be a topic breakdown. There might be a video that loads very, very quickly that it's a quick summary of the story. There's maps integration if it's appropriate. And then you can go through some top tweets or other social networking posts that apply to this story. And so that's how each of the stories is laid out. And so you just flip through them one by one and read them. Some really great visual effects and a kind of a playful UI in the app. Another example of playful UI is the share button. These guys kind of pop up from the bottom and then they kind of bounce and go away. So really great experience. And then when you're done, I love what they've done. Bear's having a good time. I love what they've done at the very end, because you read through this and the news is really great, but they've done a great job of kind of just gamifying this a little bit by giving you feedback on how many of the stories they just sent you that you read. And so while we just swiped through them now, it doesn't mean we read them, but in theory you've read them. And at the end you just get told, hey, you've read 7 of 9. And I just find it kind of a cool bit of feedback. Now, this digest that we're looking at right here is a black background because it's the end of day digest. But we can tap the top right corner, see that the next digest is coming in 11 hours. If I tap the center of the screen, it says, patience is a virtue. I love that the first time I saw that. And I can go back across the last week and pick one, maybe a digest that I hadn't read. So I'll pick a morning digest, and here the news comes in, and it's the white background. So little bits of attention to detail, on things like white background for day news, black background for nighttime news digest. Very playful interface, really well integrated with touch, and beautiful typography and layout, and excellent quality news. So really, really well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We talk about great apps a lot. On the evangelism team, we work with many of you. On Sean's team, she works with many, many developers. And we're always talking with the developer community about the need to create something that is really great, that is truly impactful in people's lives. And one of the ways to create a really great game is, of course, to use technology, have a great game loop, have a great game mechanic, etc. But more important than any of that is to add personality to a game. That's what makes it engaging. That's what makes a connection with people. And some of the biggest names that we all know, Plants vs. Zombies, Cut the Rope, Angry Birds, Where's My Water by Disney. All of those games had a great game experience, but more importantly, they had really great personality, very unique to their game. And this next game does everything right, in addition to also adding personality to the game. And so we're pleased to award an ADA to
Threes by Servo. Thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations. Congratulations.
I'm totally addicted to this game. Congratulations. I personally am addicted to this game. Threes is a tiny puzzle that will grow on you. It's an engaging number matching puzzle that you'll learn in a minute but play endlessly. With an endearing cast of characters and an enchanting soundtrack, it's been broadly imitated but never equaled. John?
Yeah, that's so true. So, you know, most of you have probably played this way more than I have. By the result of by your response that we awarded them. But, you know, you talk about personality. You know, this game has got attitude, right? So the longer I talk, the more annoyed they're going to get because these tiles are individual characters. And we can find out who they are. This is Trin. We can tap on Thumbert, right? Each of these guys has got character. I love Tracy.
Hi.
Right? And you can see on the front of these tiles that there are, you know, there's two eyes, there's a nose or a mouth. The tiles are constantly, you know, they're blinking, they're doing things with their face. They're connecting up with each other. So the game is you're doing ones and twos, create threes, and then you can combine threes together. So let's start to move here. Sorry, we got to start playing here. So we can combine 1 and 2, 3,
Hello.
threes, combining the sixes, right? Threes here,
What's up? What's up?
right? And as you play, you get this really great
All right.
experience. Hi. You know, of these tiles talking to you. And I love this. And this is, I think, what puts this game over the top and helps it stand out from the crowd. I mean, it's not just a tile sorting game. The personality is this extra layer, you know, brilliant layer on top of the technology. So this is why we picked this game as a winner. It's just great gameplay, very engaging, great technology use, and excellent personality.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations. We'll take you down this way, over this way. It's okay. You want to go over there?
All right, so if you're a creative professional, the Mac has, you know, the chances are the Mac has been your tool of choice. And across all creative markets, whether professional or consumer, in the creative space, it's pretty much always been the case that the best apps are first on the Mac or they're Mac only. And our winner in this, our next winner, stays in this tradition. And we'd like to award an 88 tonight to
Cinemagraph Pro by Flixel Photos.
Cinemagraph Pro.
Congratulations.
Right.
Congratulations. Cinemagraph Pro is a professional tool that allows you to create living photos. With its unique live masking technology, it allows artists to preview their images in real time, and it creates ultra-high definition output of your hybrid photos.
All right, so first thing is, we all know how compelling video is, and we see video on the web for advertisements or for merchandising or in catalogs or whatever for things that we might be interested in or we want to know about. And video is really great, but the problem with video is it's hard to make, and it's got a big footprint. It's got to be brought down. It takes bandwidth. And so, there's a better way to do this as far as these guys are concerned, and they built this tool that's optimized to create something they're calling Flixels, or cinemagraphs, which are basically living images that are a combination of a photo and a video. And they benefit from being a whole lot more lightweight than video and a lot more interesting and compelling than photos, just still photos. So what I want to do here is show you, first of all, just an animated GIF that I'm going to create in a moment. And now this is sort of an old file format on the web, but it's still prevalent. And to create one of these is difficult to do what we're going to do in a minute. And so here's an animated GIF. And we're going to end up with that. And that started with this raw video. So this is just video taken in a subway in New York. And we're going to start with that and quickly, in like 3 steps, create the animated GIF and create a Flixel. So let me switch over to Cinemagraph Pro. Now what you do is you open up the raw video that you've got. And in this case, we've got somebody walking by on the left. We've got the train coming in here. If you just look to the left of the escalator, you'll see as this loops, the train's pulling in, and there's the light, and it stops, right? So it's a very short clip. But we don't want any of that noise on the side. We don't want any of the reflection from the lights and different things that are in the station on the walls. And so we start in the top left corner. We choose trim. We pull in the trim, and we figure out exactly, you notice the lady on the left, we decide where we want her to freeze in the image that we're going to create, or in the cinemagraph that we're going to create. And we stop it there with the left side of the trim. The right side of the trim, I'm just going to pull in here and adjust just slightly so I get the light from the train coming into the left of the escalator there. You see that? There, it's in there. So that's just pulling it in from the right side. And the next is where the magic happens. I'm going to go to the mask tool. It's a little bit too big here, so I'm going to adjust its size. Go down, and I'm going to mask the portion of the image of the video that I want to keep. Everything else now becomes basically masked out. And then I'm going to go to loop and decide what kind of a loop. I've got several types of loops that I can do. I'll just stick with repeat. I'm going to leave the speed the way it is, leave delay the way it is, and just increase crossfade. Crossfade is what happens when the video ends and then it loops back to the beginning. So we'll just make that smooth so it looks like a continuous movement of the escalator. And lastly, we'll go to look quickly at adjustments. I can adjust all kinds of the attributes on this video. But I'll just go to the canned effects that are here. And you can see that you can apply these super quickly to this image. And so let's grab a black and white cold sun. And then we'll do a render. And we can save it out as H.264 or ProRes 422. So we'll do that. Save it to the desktop. Let's call it demo. And what it's creating now is it's creating this Flixel file, this cinemagraph that the folks at Cinemagraph Pro, at Flixel, can host on their servers for you. And it's super lightweight, comes down, works with every browser, and gives you that exact experience. And so the end result is basically this. You can see that the woman on the left is frozen. Everything about the scene is frozen except the one piece that we want. And we did this in 3 simple steps. This app is brand new on the Mac App Store. It's super gorgeous. It's really streamlined. It does one thing extremely well, saving you 30 steps in other tools. And they have a really great model for hosting these things and serving them out to your site. And we just love this app, and it makes a Mac Pro sing. So really well done work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, we talked about a moment ago about how great apps have personality. And earlier on, I talked about how we judge the apps for the ADA. We talk about design. We talk about technology adoption, or we evaluate on technology adoption. We evaluate on innovation. And we all know that great apps are also innovative. And innovation is hard to define, but it's sort of that spark of brilliance. It's that ingredient that if an app has it, it just makes your jaw drop, right? It's the kind of thing that makes a category, appear out of nowhere, right? They're category-defining apps that are innovative. They do something clever, and you really know it when you see it. And we've all run across innovative apps, and we've run across one for the ADA this year that we thought was just over the top in terms of just approaching this game situation in a very clever way. Our next winner
is Device 6 by Simogo.
tie. That was nice.
Nice tie. Device 6 plays with the conventions of games and literature. It's a captivating thriller in which the written word is both your map as well as your narrator, entwining story with puzzle and blending puzzle with novella. It draws the players into an intriguing mystery of neuroscience and technology.
Right. So I'm in landscape mode. All right, just bear with me here. We're in landscape mode. You're holding the iPad. This is a narrative that you're reading through. It's a book that you read through. And we're starting sort of halfway through the first chapter. But as you move here, you can see this parallax effect behind these images. Yeah? And that is pervasive through the app. But not only are the words on screen things that you read to tell you the story, but you're also going to get clues about the puzzle that you have to solve, because fundamentally this is a game. But it's a combination novel game. And so you're reading along, you're looking at these photos. They do really interesting interactions, and they have a great sound system built in. So sometimes you approach sounds, and they'll become louder and softer as you're near them. Here we've run into an interactive, an interactive piece, which at the moment doesn't do anything, but we're going to need it at some point to solve the puzzle. And we move on here, and you'll see that, while I'm reading this text, the text is actually doing all kinds of interesting things. So I'm moving along. Don't worry about the fact that it's portrait up there, because we're going to go in different directions here in a moment. And you see that I'm just scrolling left, but the text is actually moving things. Here I get to the third floor study. I keep going, and here I've got a device that I can interact with. Probably put a combo in or something. I keep going here, and now I've got a choice. I could go up or down. I'm going to keep going here a little bit, and now we're starting to get to a point where we have to rotate the device. And now for you guys, you'll be able to read it no problem. Now I'm approaching a source of sound.
Is the key. A framed number. In the room where red meets yellow in a frame. Plus.
And we'll leave that behind. We go here. I have to turn the device this way to read. I've got to turn the device this way. Of course, it's screwing up our projection.
The channel I am on.
And there we passed that. Now we're going here. We're going this way. We're reading the text. Now we're going to flip this way. And essentially, this entire game is, here we're moving into a dining hall. I got to get authorization. And what is so innovative about this game is just this combination of novel with game, with puzzle, and just you're constantly rotating your device, tapping, pinching, zooming, moving around, reading this story, trying to figure it out. And we'd never seen anything like this, really. And so great job. Congratulations.
Thank you. We'll have you go up that way, over here.
Talked a little bit before about how we're so busy that getting news in a digestible format was a dilemma, and the folks from Yahoo News Digest solved that problem. But, there's also something else that we're all doing every day, and that is sharing these tidbits from our lives with family, with friends, with the world. If you're here at WWC and telling the world about what's going on. But as interesting and valuable as these tidbits are, I don't think they replace the need for sometimes telling a much longer story, a much more visual story that captures an emotion and something much deeper than any tweet or any Facebook post or any other social media post could do. And our next winner is an app that allows for that type of rich storytelling.
And it is Storehouse, Visual Storytelling by Storehouse Media. Congratulations. Quano, congratulations. Instantly travel the world, learn a new skill, or discover interesting people as you explore the stories created by the Storehouse community. Or you can simply put together photos, videos, and text to build your own stories. And you don't have to be a designer to put together something stunning.
All right, like all of our winners tonight, this app was designed, optimally designed for the device it's running on, for iPad, for iPhone, for OS X. And this app is the storytelling app that's built exclusively for iPad. And the stories are told using photos and video. And so what you do is, and they're contributed by the community of Storehouse users. So you create an account with them, and then you can just use this to push out your stories to the world or to a set of people that you want to view them. And so, it's just some really gorgeous animations here. We can flip through these books, these stories that have been pushed out into the app. They can contain video and audio. So let's go in here and take a look at this one, Chicago. I love this one. So we just tap to go into this story that someone published, and we gesture through, and you can just see this, the great effect on text that's happening here. You can follow this publisher. You can look at these photos. You can apply effects to the images. So this is pretty gorgeous photography, and it's just laid out in such a really compelling way that makes it really digestible and easy to consume. And then laying out text on it is super easy. Anyway, and so when you're done with a story, you can just pinch to get out of it. They're using UI effects and UI dynamics and stuff for the transitions. Let me go into one that's got some video. So let's go into this story by a photojournalist who went to Rwanda. And so this one's got much larger photos, a lot more text, these individual portraits. And quickly here, we're going to get to a video. It's just embedded right in. You don't have to tap to start playing the video. It just does as it pulls the majority of it on screen. Right? You keep reading. Again, it's a much more significant, deeper, more emotional story that's being told here. Right? And so these are being created by chefs, by fashion designers, by photojournalists around the world, and families are creating them. Individuals are creating them. So one of the things about this app is it lets you create one of these books or these stories, super easily. So you just tap the create button. We're going to add from the photo library. Let's say we went to the lake. We import these 14 images. And immediately they're laid out in the format that the app provides. So let's say, trip to the lake, great memories. And we say done on that. Okay, so now we're down in the basic view, which is thumbnail view, but it's like, I want to do more than this. I want to make something compelling, like the Chicago one I saw a moment ago. So we could say, well, you know what, this image here of the cyclist is pretty cool. So we just tap and drag, make that larger. This one of her on the tree stump is pretty cool. So we can just tap and drag that. We can double tap and crop it in the way we want. Go around, make something really big like this. Everything else moves out of the way. Great feedback through animation. And you just go on, and you can add the text, you can create the breaks you want, and then you can publish this out to the Storehouse community. And if people are following you, they're going to see your story. In this case, I'm just going to save it as a draft. But this is just such a compelling app, just to browse through these stories and see what people are posting. And they're far more significant and more meaningful and more emotionally charged than just something small that we would put out to the world, which is equally valuable but very different. So great adoption of iOS technologies. Thanks for making something exclusive for iPad that is so compelling.
Thanks, guys.
Now, people have been captivated for, all of time, pretty much, by the night sky. I mean, who hasn't sat out, on a campground with friends in the back of a truck on a country road somewhere, looking up at the night sky, watching, airplane lights, watching satellites pass over, identifying, constellations, or trying to, pointing out things that are known, like the Big Dipper or the North Star or something like that. We've all done that. We've all been captivated by that. And it's certainly a very humbling and powerful experience to see the night sky. And the developer of our next winner has created an app that takes that to a whole new level.
And it is Sky Guide by Fifth Star Labs. Thank you. Congratulations. Discovering what's in the night sky is effortless with Sky Guide. You can search for thousands of celestial objects and simply follow the arrow in the sky above you to see them. And Sky Guide works offline, so you can take it with you anywhere.
All right, let's take a look at this. Take a look at this app. First and foremost, the app just does everything right technically. It is optimized, to the nth degree. They're using OpenGLES 3. They're using Core Audio. They're leveraging all of the technologies that are appropriate and relevant for this app, and the performance is just stunning. One of the first things you'll notice in the app too, and you're hearing it now, is this ambient music that's playing in the background. The composer of the music was the same guy who composed the sounds for an ADA winner of a couple years ago called Osmos. Great game. And this soundtrack here, for this game, is just so compelling. So as you're in this, you can just tap around and look at the night sky. It automatically is showing you the various constellations. I can tap on stars, and I'm going to stop talking for a minute as I tap on these stars. Small stars produce a small sound, larger stars produce a large sound, but just you tap around and you can almost make your own music as you're just experiencing this. You can lift it up because of the shortness of the chords. I'm not going to do that. You can lift it up, and as soon as it detects that you're looking at the sky, it activates the compass and gyroscope, and so now you can pan around the sky above us and around us. In this case, I'm going to go search for something that we all are familiar with, which is the space station. And you saw it pointing to where we're going, and now you can see the trajectory of the space station. Which is pretty cool. I can zoom in on stuff. I won't be able to see it in great detail because it's pretty small. But let's go back out here and look at a different part of the night sky. One of the things you can do is you could just, because of the noise, the light pollution that's around us when we're outside, you can actually just tap 2 fingers on screen and drag up or down to adjust the amount of stars on screen in Sky Guide relative to what you're seeing, when you're outside. So that's kind of cool. So it's a good match. You can also learn a lot about the night sky by leveraging a tool inside of the app, and this is the Loop. So this lets you see different spectra beyond what's visible to the human eye. And so you just bring up this loop. You can drag it around the sky, but you can just take this and move through, microwave, infrared, H-alpha, and you can leave it there and simply move around the night sky and look at different things that are going on that you wouldn't know about, but might be behind one of your most favorite constellations or something. If I tap on an individual item, I get this little eye on the side here. You'll see it on the right side there. It's blinking to say, look at me. And I can read through information about the object, Sirius in this case, that I selected. I can tap something like Canis Minor, and it will go to that. I can tap the name of another star, and it'll go there. I can tap the sun, and it will rotate to the sun. So, and this is just scratching the surface of this app. It's incredible the attention to detail that these guys put into it, the optimizations for iOS, the soundtrack. It's just a pleasure to use this app, and I think it sets a standard that all of us should aspire to in our particular individual categories. So thank you for great work.
Congratulations.
Now, speaking of great work, we all aspire to do great things in our lives, right? We've all got these great ideas. All of you have got undoubtedly ideas already coming to mind for things you're going to do with iOS 8 and with OS X Yosemite. And you know, when we've got these great ideas, we also have these very high standards for ourselves in many cases. And when you've got these high standards, it's often difficult, though, to actually realize them for a variety of reasons beyond our own control, right? Life is a way of taking charge, and that's why some of these great ideas are such a big challenge. But when you can pull them off, it's amazing, and it's definitely something that's worth noting. It's a definitely notable moment. And so our next winner is just an incredible app that was definitely a big idea, I think, for them. And they set out to do something fantastic. And I think they achieved that.
And our final award this afternoon goes to Monument Valley by Us2 Studio.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Oh, there's a whole bunch of you. Monument Valley is a surreal exploration through fantastical architectures and impossible geometry. Guide the silent Princess Ida through mysterious monuments, uncovering hidden paths and unfolding optical illusions to outsmart the enigmatic Crow people.
This is such an awesome game, and I don't know where the idea came from. We'll have to hear the story someday, but they just set out to do something so big, and the result is amazing. So what you're doing is you're taking this little Princess Ida, and you've got to get her to the top of these, to the top of these scenes. In this case, the top of the tower there. But we're looking at this very Escher-esque 3D model, and a lot of things don't line up. And anyway, so we'll figure it out as we go. Number one, you can interact with objects on screen. So this one's pretty straightforward. Let's just tap and tell her where to go. She's going to go up here. We're going to put her up here. But now what do we do? But you get these hints on screen that so you can turn this, and so we'll walk her on here. We're going to walk her around, flip this around, and now she's got to go and step on this special platform, which is now going to deconstruct things. But when you look at this, you're like, okay, now where is she going to go? She can't climb that center pole. She can't, what are we going to do? But what's just so cool about this app is that once you start to interact with these objects, you realize, like, look what's going on here. You didn't think that top bar was the same height as the other walkway, right? But as you start to rotate it around, they've just done this great job of showing what you're doing. And it's like that, those stairs that just never end, right? It's exactly that experience. So here you turn her around. Now she's going to get to the final destination, right? And so she gets there. We get this path that appears, and now we get onto this next level. And so she's going to walk around here. And this just goes on and on and on, and it's just so awesome. Because in this level here, she suddenly learns to walk sideways and walk on different surfaces. And so here she's going up here, We're going to walk her around here. And just listen to the soundtrack that's going on behind the scenes. Now you're like, what is happening here, right? But if we turn, let's see, could I remember how to do this? Well, let's just end the demo there, because, oh, I know what to do. That's right. Yeah, I want to get to the back side of this thing. No, I can't do that. I can't remember. It's okay. You got to play the game. Awesome use of technology, a great user experience, fabulous art that's optimized for Retina display, and just such an intriguing experience. And you should just be super proud of your work. We really appreciate what you've done for iPad. Thank you.
Congratulations. I'll go that way. Thank you. You're welcome. So that's it. Those are our 12 winners for the Apple Design Awards in 2014. 12 incredible apps built on and for iOS 7 and OS X Mavericks.
These are 12 incredible developers who we'd love to invite back on stage now. So come on up, you guys.
Nice.
You know, these folks have done such great work. You've just seen, you've seen a few seconds of each of their apps, but already you get a glimpse of why these apps are really great. These guys have set a new benchmark with these apps for excellence, for creativity, for technology adoption, for innovation, for so many things. And really, these apps set a standard that we're really saying to you as a community, your work needs to be just like these guys. It needs to be of this quality or higher. They've set the new bar. And I think, just for a moment, it'd be great to just give these people a hand. They've worked so hard. They're so creative. So thank you for all your hard work. Keep doing it.
And we can't wait to see what these developers and you do with iOS 8 and OS X Yosemite. Thank you very much.